Okay, just each of you say one more thing individually.
Hello.
Gaming.
Okay, I think it's good. Okay. Please don't blue screen. Knock on wood. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back for another Ninja podcast. This is the 10th Ninja podcast. And just before we get into it, I got a quick announcement to make. Turns out I looked at my birth certificate today, and it turns out I'm actually part Moroccan. So I'm looking forward to my home nation, Morocco. Woo! Doing great in the World Cup. Really looking forward to it. I'm also part French, part Argentinian, and part Croatian. Yes. Also joining me here, by the way.
No English.
No English. No. It's this voice you're hearing right now. It's just an impression. I'm very good at impressions. Also, we're here to do this little thing. Apparently, this tournament called Sasuke 40. You may have heard of it. Is happening soon. So I've got Puma and Flame here, and we are back once again doing our usual Sasuke predictions podcast. So how are you two?
Really good. It's crazy. Sasuke 40 is happening. 25 years of Sasuke. We've been doing predictions now since I think like Sasuke 34. We've been watching Sasuke together since Sasuke 31. It's crazy to think. Wild.
And Flame, how are you feeling with?
Honestly, a bit of a miracle Sasuke's even lasted for that long. There was after 27 where Monster 9 went bankrupt. There was after Kinniku Banzuke was canceled. The show was in a really uncertain state then. So regardless of the state of the show, which we can debate another time, the fact that we're even at a 40th tournament is amazing.
Exactly, yeah. Considering where we were 10 years ago with... even with 10 years, it's almost exactly 10 years since Sasuke 28. And even then, we weren't really sure where Sasuke was going at that point. So the fact that 10 years later we're still talking about Sasuke and having a new Sasuke tournament is great. And even though obviously we've fallen, it used to be 2 tournaments a year, things like that, I think it is quite poetic that the 40th tournament is also taking place a few months after the 25-year anniversary.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting because, I remember back when, 28 to 31 era, where it really didn't feel like Sasuke was, going to continue moving forward until after 31. And we started having those 2 a year until COVID happened.
Briefly,
so
yeah.
hopefully once COVID starts calming down, we can go back to that 2 a tournament. But, yeah, like you said, 10 years post the Monster 9 issues. The fact that we're still able to enjoy this and be able to watch this in a couple more weeks is really astounding.
Yes, and we are back once again doing another podcast. As we say, this is like the 10th podcast, and probably about 7 of these have been our Sasuke predictions, so it has become a bit of a norm. Basically, Puma has devised a list of the most notable competitors. We're going to go through all of them. We're going to give our individual predictions on how they do on Stage 1. And then once Stage 1 is finished, everyone that got through to Stage 2, Stage 3, Stage 4, we'll just go through them all like that. We also usually cover the previous tournament, but we don't really have to. We can keep it very brief because I'm pretty sure the course is exactly the same as it was in 39. I think there is absolutely no changes. I don't know if
Stage
we've
1
had it
time
confirmed.
limit's probably changed.
I don't think we've had
I don't know the time
confirmed
limits, but I'm assuming it's not 99.9 seconds.
Usually, when we've done these predictions, we don't know what the time limit is until the live tournament. So obviously, we judge it without taking into account the time limits anyway. But just very briefly, actually, Sasuke 39. I'm not going to lie to you. I thought it was only an okay tournament. I thought as a renewal tournament, it was probably the weakest renewal tournament I've seen. And I think if the rain hadn't happened, I don't think it would have been as interesting of a tournament as it ended up being. But I will give props to Stage 3. Stage 3 was very enjoyable to watch. If you two just want to give your brief thoughts on 39.
Yeah, for me, for 39, I didn't understand a whole lot of the hate. I get that stage 2 was very underwhelming. I personally really liked stage 1. It's just, I thought the double warp wall would be a bigger killer. And I think maybe if it's a lower time limit, it could potentially be that. Stage 2, I get that people are tired of that stage 2. I'm tired of that stage 2. But they're never going to change it. It's just not within the budget. But stage 3 did genuinely impress me.
I think the disappointment I will quickly say about stage 2 was just because 38 had been such a boost and was, I thought, arguably the best stage 2 since 28, and it felt like it was a step backwards in 39. But just Flame, your opinions as well on 39 as a whole.
39, right after it ended, I loved it, which that might have just been because I had a pretty unique watching experience the first half of it. Watching with you guys, and then about the second half of it, watching in a truck going in a 12-hour road trip. That was fun, but I've done like 2 or 3 full rewatches since then. It's fine, like a 6.5, 7 out of 10. But I do think it is kind of hypocritical. People praise tournaments like 8 and 37 because of the weather, yet people hate on 32 and 39, especially. Because of the weather. So it's just an interesting little piece of hypocrisy, in my opinion.
That's a fair point, actually. I think that's the one thing I would clarify on my original point. I don't think it's a bad tournament. I only thought the only reason I had an iffy problem with it was just because it was a renewal tournament. I think if it was any other tournament, I probably wouldn't have thought it was... I would have said it was like a decent tournament. I think the only reason I consider it a tournament is just because it was a renewal tournament. But
yeah,
this one isn't a renewal tournament. This is, just, well, it's a normal tournament, but also it's an anniversary tournament. So, yeah, it's going to be exciting to watch. And I think it's fair to say we have a stacked lineup to go through. One last thing before Puma leads the way here. Today's game is another throwback from a video Let's Play series that I didn't finish. I think I only uploaded like 2 episodes of this game. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered. A great game, probably my favourite card game, and I'm just going to be playing it in the background whilst we go through all this magic. I am a little bit concerned because the next mission... Oh yeah. The next mission I got to... might involve an airport.
No.
But yeah, so Puma, you just lead the way, and we'll just forget about everything that's on the screen right now.
Yeah, so we have 38 contestants that we have chosen from. I will spare everyone from saying 3,903 and so on and so forth. I will just revert to the regular non-anniversary numbers that these contestants would normally have. I will say the contestant, I'll give a quick little blurb about them if they have anything interesting about them or anything like that. And then I, Hunter, or Flame will first say their prediction, we'll go around and have a little conversation about it. So, starting in numerical order, we're going to start with our modern-day Mr. Octopus and Glider Man, however you have, with number 3, with Kurosawa Katsuhide, our fun weightlifter. He's been around now, I believe, 20. You don't want to know what it's cost. Yeah, he's up there for most appearances by a non-all-star. And for me, I unfortunately have his 22nd appearance, sadly ending early on the rolling hill.
I'm trying to think where Kurosawa failed in the previous tournament. Was it the rolling hill or was it the steps?
I think so.
I believe he got to I thought he got to the fishbone.
You got to the fishbone in 34, where he was fully cut.
Not in 39. I can't remember, yeah.
Can't remember exactly. But
I'm going to just keep it very simple. Yeah, I'm going to keep it very brief and just say he fails the mount onto the rolling hill. So it will count as a rolling hill fail. But,
yeah, I'll say rolling hill as well.
Yeah.
I love that he still competes. There's contestants that have no chance of winning, but it's just awesome to have these types of people that compete no matter what.
He's a cool
exactly.
guy.
You always get to see what type of weightlifting stunt he does. Mm-hmm.
Which is probably not good for his chances if he ever seriously wanted to do well.
That is very true. So now we actually move on to the first serious contender. And number 10, we have Koji Saikawa. He has been to stage 2 now. multiple times. This will be, he has 3 appearances and 3 stage 1 clears. He's trying to shoot for 4 for 4, and he's been given incredibly low numbers throughout his entire time. He's been given 14, he's been given 9, and he's been stepping up early and becoming a first clear. So, Hunter, do you think he continues that trend and is...
I was going to say, I recall him being like 55, was he, or something, in his first appearance?
Yep.
Technically, this is an improvement, isn't it? Like, from the number he had in the previous tournament.
Yeah, he was 9 last time.
Yeah, he moved up one.
I think he was going to clear, actually. I think he's going to go 4 for 4, which I don't know when was the last time we saw. I don't know when was the last time we saw that. We'd have to look that up. But I'm going to go with it. I'm going to say he clears.
I am also going to say he clears.
And I will follow suit because I also believe he'll be the first clear of this tournament.
I have a feeling we're going to have a lot of similar predictions.
Yeah, we may. And this was the first one where I think it could be very divided. Makoto Nagano, as we all know, has a son, and that son is of age to start competing. So Kaiu Nagano is making his grand debut with his father running much later in the tournament, but he's going to be here at 14. If he clears, he would be the youngest contestant to ever clear. So the question is, Flame, do you think he follows in his father's footsteps and is able to clear?
As much as I hope both of them clear, because let's be honest, in the extremely low chance they both clear, if it does happen, it would be the greatest moment in Ninja history. And no, that is not a debate. But it's not going to happen as... I do think he has the right genes to do good. So I'm going to say he does pretty decently. I'm going to say he is going out on the Dragon Glider.
So, TBS recently released a YouTube video that had Kaiu and Makoto practicing on a backyard gym that they have, and Kaiu struggled immensely with the Dragon Glider, and Nagano kept trying to give him tips, and it primarily centered not around the transition, because he was actually good with that, but his trampoline technique, which was really bad. And I think that Kaiu Nagano will fail because he cannot jump on a trampoline properly on the Dragon Glider.
I do apologise, I've just been briefly checking the audio to make sure that the sound of bullets is not drowning out our voices, and I think it's coming through fine. I really don't want to be negative. For some reason I have a bad feeling he's going to fail the rolling hell, like the dismount of it. No. But I'm going to be a little bit more positive, and I'll say he fails the fishbone.
Yeah, I could definitely see the fishbone, because he's rushing, he's young, and again, Nagano, he failed stage 1, his first appearance, so it would truly be following in his father's footsteps to being... Am I
correct in thinking that Kai first appeared in a Sasuke tournament, or like on site at Sasuke in 22?
Yeah, when he was a little baby, that's crazy to think.
Yeah.
You can see him like grow up throughout the tournaments. And speaking of someone who has been throughout all the tournaments, we meet a former Black Tiger, Yoshinori Issa. He has left Katsumi Yamada's group, and he's done really well for himself. Last tournament, he got all the way to the swing edge, which honestly shocked me. I did not think he would even beat stage 1 last tournament. So, for me, I was very impressed. What'd you say, Flynn?
And he got DQ'd.
Yeah, he did DQ'd. But I was thoroughly impressed. I thought he was always going to play second fiddle to Yoshiyuki Yamamoto in terms of the Black Tiger, and he would never really like get to that level. And he's proven me wrong, and I'm very happy that be proven wrong. But I will choose that Yoshinori Issa will continue make a strong case for a top competitor, and that he will clear.
I agree.
You agree? What about
am I correct in thinking he's made it to stage 3 tournaments in a row now?
Yes.
I think he's a really solid competitor. I think he's also going to clear.
We do have very similar picks so far. I love it. So now we go to one of my favorite contestants, someone who we've always raved about as, one of the top contestants. Karen is right after. So Hunter, do you think Karen will follow and clear?
She failed the rolling hill, I believe, in the last tournament, and I think she's going to do it again.
Flame, what do you think?
Karen is going to finish with 17 seconds left, and by finish, I mean hit the water on the dismount of Rolling Hill.
Man, y'all are very pessimistic.
Hey, come on, why don't you give us a different result so it looks like we're all a little bit original?
I wrote down that they will clear the Rolling Hill, and not only that, they'll clear the Silk Slider, but they will fall on the Fishbone.
Really?
Yes, I
that
think
is positive.
I think this will be one of the best Karen tournaments that we've seen.
Is her personal best like the third obstacle?
Yeah, and I mean the Silk Slider. If you fail the Silk Slider, that's a problem. Karen is bad, but I don't think Karen is Silk Slider failure bad.
Failing the Silk Slider is worse than failing Rolling Hill, if we're being honest.
I agree. So now we move on to another contestant who kind of came out of nowhere last tournament, Yusuke Goto, who I believe was a newcomer last tournament. Was number 14, cleared. He got up the first half of the salmon ladder, but did a whoopsie when they failed in between the transition between the salmon ladders on the Kudaru salmon ladder. They could potentially be going 2 for 2. Flame, do you think that our friend Yusuke Goto will clear?
I think he will.
Ooh. Hunter?
I think... So that was his second appearance, failed stage 1 in his first appearance. I think... Okay, I'm going to offer something a little bit different. He failed the Dragon Glider on his first appearance. I'm going to say he fails the Dragon Glider again.
So, I think he will beat the Dragon Glider. However, I think that he will not clear. I think the second warp wall will get him, and he will time out. He'll be one of the first of many warp wall failures. So now, we have from 39 to 46 actually, we are covering. So moving right up to number 40, we have Daisuke Matsuda. He's 47, so if he does clear, he will be the oldest contestant to ever clear. He's gotten close a couple times, he's gotten to the wall, but he has choked immensely, especially for someone who has built a lot of these obstacles in the past. For me, I think primarily the thing that cautions me is his age. I think his fishbone technique is fine, he'll beat it, but I think the Dragon Glider will get him.
So failed the Dragon Glider in the last tournament. I think... Yeah, I'm gonna do the opposite here. I'm gonna be the one that's positive, and I'm gonna say he clears the Dragon Glider, times that on the wall.
Which wall do you think? First
God! Don't ask me to do this. Are we actually splitting? Are we actually splitting the warped walls?
We will split it. Oh yeah, just to clarify, I think Yusuke Goto will time out on the second wall.
I'll say the second wall, but I'll say like he's going to be so slow and tired from his old age that he won't even have enough time to get an attempt in on the second wall before he gets to it. He'll clear the first wall, be making his way to the second wall, and then time out and hopefully not die from exhaustion.
Flame, what do you think?
So I'm going to agree with Hunter in that he fails the second wall, but he will actually get an attempt on it.
Ooh, that's more ambitious. So now, number 41...
Because then he'll time out as he's, like, going up the upwards curve part of the wall.
So now, number 41, we have Hideki Aijima. So fun fact about him, last tournament, he was a newcomer who cleared, he failed the rolling log, but he was the first contestant born in the 21st century to clear. So, maybe the other person, Tayu Nagano, could be the second person, potentially, if it clear. But do you think that Hideki Aijima will become the second person, second time that it's happened, and still the only person to have that feat, Hunter?
20. Oh, I was going to say he's 20 years old. I think. Do I want to call it beginner's luck? I can't really remember a lot about this guy. I knew about the stat.
Yeah, he was fast forwarded, so we didn't really get to see how he did.
Oh, right. He felt the rolling log.
Yep.
I think. No, yeah, I'm going to say he times out in the second walked wall.
And what do you think?
I am going to say he does 100 did, but a little bit better, so I'll say he clears.
Clears. Flame has been the most optimistic so far. I will be the most pessimistic.
Out of character for me.
I know. I'll be the most pessimistic with Hideki Aijima. I think the Dragon Glider will unfortunately take him out. So now we have another contestant that has done very well the last couple tournaments, and that is Sugeta Rene. So the last two tournaments he has cleared. He has not done as well as you would like to see on stage 2, but he has shown that on stage 1 he can be a consistent competitor potentially. So, Flame, do you think that he keeps up that consistency and has a third straight clear?
Yes.
Ooh. And you know what? I have to agree. I really like Sugeta Rene, and I think he's definitely evolving into someone who I thought originally was just stage 2 fodder to showing that they can actually be a stage 1, not only stage 1 clear consistently, but a potential stage 3 threat. So I think he will clear. Hunter, what do you think?
So he's 2 appearances. He's failed, I believe it was the salmon ladder, and then he timed out on the conveyor belt in the last tournament. I also think he's going to clear for the 3rd time in a row.
Nice. Yeah, I have really high hopes for him this tournament, so I am wishing him the best. So now 43, we're starting to get into a couple contestants that have had a fall from grace, are a little bit past their prime, some would say. And that is Shinsuke Nagasaki. To describe how immensely disappointed I have been in Shinsuke Nagasaki as of late would be an understatement. His spider walk failures in the stage 2s and now just a complete inability to even beat stage 1 has been frustrating to watch, especially now where it's kind of the point where he's given the slow number. He's been fast forwarded a lot, where they're not even bothering showing him. I really wish that he would get out of this rut that he's in, but I don't think it will. I think he will have a Dragon Glider failure. What do you think, Connor?
I was going to say I'll let Flame go first, and then actually I can give a little bit more of a detailed, because I can say a lot about Shinsuke, which maybe I couldn't have said about the last few guys. So I'll let Flame go first.
So you can say he peaked too early. He's wasted potential. You could say a lot of other things, and I will say he fails the Dragon Glider again. That was very mean.
Shinsuke, I think some of the things that should be said about him. I don't know when exactly it happened. Obviously, you know, I want to say, like, 33, we were talking... So it might have actually been the first time we did a predictions podcast. We were coming off of 33, and we were saying that Shinsuke was in this group of, like, the top 5 competitors right now in Sasuke. Alongside another one who... he's an American. He's not there anymore.
Yeah, I wonder who that is.
Yeah, ever since 33. I mean, even actually when you look at his results before 33, you know, he's only got one cliffhanger. He's only made it or attempted one cliffhanger since his comeback. Obviously had 2 stage 3 appearances. But, you know, since 34, he's just slowly gotten more into a rut. I give him props for 35 because he was one of only 8 to clear stage 1. But since 35, it has been really tough to watch. And some of that has been personal reasons. I think looking after his little brother, I think has taken its toll on him. I think he's just completely lost the confidence. I don't think he trains. I know, but I think he's also just lost complete confidence in himself. And there's a lot of rumors going around that this could be his last appearance in Sasuke. If he fails, even if he clears, it could be his last appearance. As much as I'd love Shinsuke to go out on a high if it was his last run, I do think he's going to fail the Dragon Glider again, which I believe would be the 4th time in 5 tournaments he's failed it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a shame. Not this final part of his career doesn't take away from all that he succeeded, and that can be the same with any contestant that hasn't lived up to the expectations of had like Yamada and Yamamoto, anyone like that. But it is sad seeing once great contestant not either have that drive or the confidence or just age in general. And that kind of goes off to our next contestant, Hitoshi Kano. Unfortunately, injuries have plagued him post Sasuke 31, and he has not been able to compete at the level that he wants to. And I would really love to see Kano come back to his glory. But do you think this is the tournament that he does so, honey?
Kano, yeah, it's different reasons compared to Shunsuke. But injuries have played its part. His Sasuke 37 run still stands out for me for his interview afterwards. Just, it clearly still means so much to him. Perhaps in a way that it doesn't for Shunsuke anymore. I think Shunsuke has lost a bit of the love, whereas I think it's still there for Kano. He just cannot seem to figure out the Dragon Glider for whatever reason, no matter how much practice, and I don't know how much practice he's putting in. But I've tried to give positive predictions with Kano before, and it's still always been the Dragon Glider. I'm going to say the Dragon Glider again, but I will consider it a success if his run does actually get shown in this tournament, because he's been fast-forwarded in the last 2.
Yes, that is true as well. Flame, do you think gets past the Dragon Glider?
This might be seen as a hot take. I do.
But
he's going to fail the second wall. He's going to time out there.
As much as it pains me to say it, I have to agree with Flame. I think he will beat the Dragon Glider. I don't think he will beat the stage. I would love to see Kano clear. I don't care how he would do on stage 2, but I don't think he will get there. But from one contestant who made the final stage,
he's also getting on a bit quite now, I should say, as well. 37. Yeah. He's running out of. Yes. He's really running out of chances to turn it around.
He really is. And from one contestant who made it to the final stage in the Shin Sasuke era, we move on to another contestant who I'm very excited to see come back.
I didn't think we'd see him back.
Yeah, it's so great to see him back. We never really knew the reason why. We found out he had a scoliosis diagnosis. It took a lot of time to focus on his health. And it's really awesome to see him come back after so many years, see that he's healthy, see that he's doing really well. And this is one of the runs that I'm really excited to see. And his last time that he was here, he unfortunately had the backstream be ridiculous in Sasuke 29. And Flame, do you think that he can match or excel that result by clearing stage 1 to start?
As much as I hope so, I don't think so. I think even with how little the course has changed lately, it's changed so much since 29, I think he's going to go out on the Dragon Glider.
And I think that's a good point you bring up, where there hasn't been... I wouldn't say this course is harder than 29. I think it would be around the same level as 29 in terms of difficulty. But
it's harder, but not incredibly harder.
Yeah, like the obstacles that are here, the Dragon Glider requires immense timing. The fishbone requires a lot of patience. And I think that's the thing where if you're very inexperienced with either of those two, it's going to get you, and I sadly think the fishbone will get Koji Hashimoto.
I'm just very pleased. I didn't think we'd ever see him back again. Obviously, we didn't know at the time. It's great that he has at least. I imagine the problem's not like completely gone, but he's got it under check enough that he feels he can compete. I do think the changes though is going to have a big impact on his run. And he's 38 now. It's crazy to think he was one of the young hotshots breaking through. I actually forgot that he was older than Kano.
It's crazy to think how all these like new stars that were hyped up in like the 21 to 25 era are now like in their mid to late 30s.
At times weird.
I don't know. Again, I don't know how much training he's put in. I'm just going to say Dragon Glider, but again, it's great to see him, and I hope we do actually get to see his run. I imagine we will. It would be disappointing if he has this comeback and he's fast-forwarded. Yes. I'm going to say Dragon Glider, but regardless of how he does, it's just great to see him back.
I agree entirely. So now, 46, we have another contestant that has been weirdly on and off in terms of what tournaments they decide they want to compete in.
A veteran,
Naoki Katani. What is that?
All-time veteran.
All-time veteran. Naoki Katani. I put him in the top 10 in terms of Sasuke contestants of all time. I've always argued that he should have been an all-star. I personally think Ikatani, in the earlier bits of Sasuke, was an incredible contestant. And even in his 40s, he's still a pretty strong guy. He still competes in Monster Box stuff. Like, he knows... He's athletic. He's still strong. He still trains gymnasts. He's still active. Whether or not he cares about Sasuke in the sense of he thinks he can win, or not even that, but like thinks that he can beat stage 1 is different. And this is going to be ironic from me saying it, but as much as I do love Ikatani and can praise him, his results have sucked post Sasuke 27. I think they'll continue to be underwhelming. I think the Fishbone will get him. What do you think, Hunter?
So his last appearance was in... since Sasuke Rising, he's competed in 28, 33, 37. Wanted to compete in 39, but wasn't picked, bizarrely. But was present, I believe, to watch a different competitor in Sasuke 39.
And we're going to get to that contestant later.
Failed the second obstacle, failed the second obstacle again, and then failed the third obstacle on his most recent appearance in 37. I'm going to try and be positive and say the Fishbone, but again, I will simply consider it a win if we actually get to see his run and he's not cut or fast-forwarded. I wouldn't be surprised if he's fast-forwarded, but I hope he's not cut again.
That is true. What do you think, Flint?
Fishbone.
Fishbone.
I'd also think we should look up actually how many appearances he's made. He's got to be like somewhere in the 20s in terms of what appearance he's on right now.
As far as, and I might be wrong on this now because of Torisawa, but I believe Ikatani has the most appearances of any non-all-star.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe we should look it up. I don't know.
Yeah, if you in the
I
comments,
can't right now.
if anyone knows
I'm trying to survive in the
free to
favela right now.
They got rid of the Sasukepedia page that had all these stats, and I'm mad.
I'd probably do the math in my head right now if I wasn't getting shot at.
that would be hard, yeah. But now we're going on to a contestant that I would argue right now. I remember saying this back in the day of my top 5 contestants I had to choose to beat stage 1 to save my life. And if I had to make a new list of that right now, I would put him at number 2. This is Yoshiyuki Yamamoto. I think it's crazy that Yamada was able to find this person, still be able to train them. This is basically the amazing protege that Yamada was trying to find when he formed the Black Tigers, and he has this person that not only has the talent to get to stage 3, but beat stage 3. And I'm very excited to see his run. But Hunter, do you think his run will end in success on stage 1?
Yes, so it's currently his 4th appearance. He's made stage 3 every time. Cliffhanger, swing edge. We obviously know or remember the controversy of the 38 fail. He's really knocking on the door. I think there's a lot of competitors. It was him, wasn't it, in 38?
Yep.
I think he's really knocking on the door to try to be that number 2 behind Yusuke right now. I think he's in a group of maybe like 3 competitors that are pushing to be in that, contention.
Like
but
Yoshiyuki, Tada, and I don't know.
Maybe it is only 2, but I just said 3 just as a random number. But I think he's going to clear.
What about you, Flame? Do you think he joins the clear slate?
Yes.
And I also have to agree. If he fails stage 1, it would be honestly, I would be more shocked than if Yusuke were to fail stage 1. That is a statement that I'm
Because at
putting
least Yusuke has a discernible weakness on stage 1, which is, rain.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. But now we go from one person that I think is on the rise. Are going to another person who's been on the rise for a long time, but age is starting to catch up with them, and that is Hioki Masashi. I'm so happy how well Hioki's been doing. It's just so amazing seeing him coming from loving Sasuke to doing so well in the 30s. To see his family around him, like he's one of the most wholesome parts of every tournament, and I'm always excited to see him. Yeah. So, what do you think, Flame? Do you think he gets this? We get to see more wholesomeness on stage 2?
I hope so, and I think so. He clears.
Nice. And now, the Hunter, one thing I disagreed with on your top 10 ranking is you put Hioki in the top 10, although
what are you on?
I wouldn't. I think he's a good honorable mention, but do you think he continues building that resume, Hunter, and clears stage 1?
Yeah, so I think he will, but just before we quickly move on from it, I should point out this is going to be his 15th appearance on Sasuke. If he clears stage 1, which I think he will, this will be his 8th stage 1 clear in a row, which means he'll tie the long record that's been shared between Nagano and Takeda for 8 straight tournaments clearing stage 1. Obviously, Jun Sato has the appearance clear record to himself, but Hioki could become the 3rd ever competitor to clear stage 1 8 times in a row. And if he does clear stage 1 8 times for the 8th time in a row, it means that he will have cleared stage 1 in 11 of his 15 appearances, and will only have failed stage 1 once in his last 12 appearances, I think it is.
Yeah, he only failed in 32.
Maybe controversial that I put him in the top 10, but I think his stats, or maybe not in terms of overall progression on the course, but consistency is up there for all time amazing. And I think he will do it. I think he will clear stage 1 for the 8th tournament in a row.
I think he will too. And yeah, like you said, 8 in a row. That is a feat that only 2 of the top 4 contestants could ever hold. Yeah, and Jun Sato, obviously, he's had a lot of gaps. If you combined all his gaps together, it would be a lot longer.
If he hadn't had his injury that meant he missed 39, he'd probably be in the same boat right now as well.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm hoping the best for Hioki.
I was going to say, so is that a yes that he's going to clear for you as well?
Yes, I think he will. So now we are going into someone who still has one of the most final stage appearances ever in Akira Omori. He obviously hasn't made the final stage since Sasuke 3, and also hasn't cleared stage 1 since Sasuke 3. Sadly, I don't think this will be changing anytime soon.
It's been a whopping 23 years since he last played a stage 1?
Since after Sasuke 3's the jump hang.
Yeah.
Or the jumping spider in 23. The fourth obstacle, either way.
Yeah.
I don't think he will match that. I think he will go out on the rolling hill.
No. You go first, Flame. I just wanted to check something quickly on the monkey.
Ugh. So you don't think he'll match that?
No.
I don't either. I think he surpasses it. Monkey on the dragon glider.
Oh my god! If he gets to the dragon glider,
he's still in really good shape. He can do it.
I have to say, when for some bizarre reason, I clicked on Sasuke 37 recently, and because he was like number 4 in the run order, I saw his run. The dude's in his mid-50s, and he still moves just as quickly as when he was, first running the course in the original days. Like he's got the speed. Maybe he shouldn't be going so fast because he's maybe tiring himself out super quickly, but he still has that just raw energy to want to go fast. I actually also forgot that he was in 38 and got cut, failing the rolling hill. I can't believe I'm going to say this. I'm going to be super positive as well and say he fails the fishbone. But he's another person that I'm just like, I want him in the tournament, even if he gets fast forwarded. Just don't cut him, please.
Yeah, please. For the 40th anniversary, you can't cut these people.
This is the second tournament after 38 where all 6 people that have gotten to the final stage more than once are all competing.
Wow, that's wild.
The how many tournaments? Say that again.
Oh, this is the second tournament. Okay. Yeah, 38 was the first.
So now we're moving on to a success story from the last tournament. Hayate Kajihara. He's beaten stage 1 the last 2 tournaments, and last tournament he had his first stage 3 appearance. I was very pessimistic about this contestant, but Irish, I remember, was pounding his fist saying he was going to succeed, he was going to do well, and I was like, I don't think so. And then Irish was right, so I have to give props to Irish for being right there. But do you think that success will translate over again, Hunter?
He's definitely been one that surprised me. I didn't expect him. I didn't expect his newcomer appearance in 38, and then I still somewhat didn't expect him to back it up in 39. I am feeling pessimistic, but not on this stage. So I will say that the Japanese Jackie Chan will clear, because that's what he wants to be. He wants to call himself the Japanese Jackie Chan. I also should point out he's probably the only person within about 15 runs that's semi-decent for how stacked the field is. The middle portion from like 56 to 70 is actually quite bare, so he could be the only success that we see during that brief period. It's probably going to be a lot of fast forwards during that point, I imagine.
I would imagine so too. And Flame, do you think he will be the lone success in that gap?
So, Irish was not the only guy last year who was really high on Kajihara. I was too. I was proven right. I hope to be proven right again by saying he's going to clear.
Nice. So we are 2 for 2 on Japanese Jackie Chan, and I will say that we are 3 for 3 because I also think that he will clear and follow up on his success. So now...
I'll be right back.
Oh, no worries. So we have, after that bareness of 56 to 70, where there's not many good contestants, we get a long stretch from 71 to 77.
Oh, yeah.
Some top contestants. We are first going on to one of our favorite musicians, ABCZ. I personally really like ABCZ as like a person. He may not be the best competitor, but he always brings his heart out there. He truly cares about it. He seems like a really awesome person. I love the relationship that him and Yuji have in terms of their camaraderie. It's sad that he hasn't been able to translate that into stage 1 success as of late. I think he could be a very good stage 2 contestant now, especially since he's gotten over his salmon ladder issues. Sadly, I think it will happen again where he will not clear stage 1. I think he does get to the warp wall though. I think the second warp wall.
Again, I have to really just echo everything that Puma just said. I really like ABCZ as a person, first of all, but also as one of the representations of like the celebrity athlete. You know, he could be one of these celebrity athletes that just shows up, does his bit, doesn't really care, doesn't really get involved, and that's it really. Aside from his TIE Fighter fail in 35, all of his other appearances have been pretty solid, has to be said. You know, he's got to like the Dragon Glider, I think, he's got to the Dragon Glider in every appearance since 36, and every other appearance he's gotten deep into stage 1 is what I'm trying to say. I think he's going to fail the Dragon Glider, unfortunately.
Are we talking about ABCZ?
Yes,
yep,
we are.
I have him failing the second warp wall, and Hunter has him failing the Dragon Glider. You have him failing the second warp wall too?
Yeah.
Alright. Sad none of us have ABCZ. Well, we may have a consensus of failure. I think 72 may be a consensus of clear. Jun Sato is back from his injury. Really happy to see him back. I'm personally very excited to see Jun Sato compete. I thought if he had competed in 39, if he was healthy, this was going to be potentially his breakout on stage 3. But I want to see, I'm curious if y'all think the consensus clear here is the case, so Flame, we'll start with you.
So I'm not going to be anywhere near as confident as I was back in 38, because I literally just said clear off the bat. And that's obviously because of his injury and how his Achilles is going to hold up, which it probably will. So I do think he's going to clear, but I wouldn't say he's like the guaranteed clear that he was just yet.
That's very fair to say. Hunter, what do you think about Jun Sato?
Well, I think the first thing that should be said is just, as I said, if you thought the 40s were stacked, it's ridiculous the quality of competitors that we have in the 70s, and some might say a little bit controversial, but
yeah, I think they gave a lot of the newer stars lower numbers, because like the 90s, they really wanted to highlight historical people.
Which I think is a good thing. We'll get onto that in more detail when we get there. But a little bit surprising. It's certainly going to spread the clear count, in my opinion. Jun Sato. So this, I want to say, is going to be his 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. This will be his 11th Stage 1 clear in a row based on appearances, if he does it. He already has the record. It honestly is on par with like Yusuke levels of fail, like shock. You know, when Yusuke failed in 37. How shocked we all were. I think it would be similar levels if we saw Jun Sato fail at this point, just any point in the future. But I don't think we're going to see it today. I think, or in this tournament. I think he will clear.
So now the next part is the person who actually got first place last tournament. Tatsuya Tada. I think this is probably the lowest number of any contestant who got first place in a tournament.
I was about to say that, actually. Yeah. I feel like this must be a record for like the lowest number given.
Yeah, like the closest I could think of is Bunpei in 17 when he got 81. Or 82,
yeah, I was going to say, I forgot about... No, I think it was 81. I think you were right. I think you were right first time.
I wish Bunpei
I was going to say the dude that finished in first place in Sasuke 2, and he got like 84 in Sasuke 3, but I'd forgotten about Bunpei.
Yeah. So
it might be actually, yeah. But Tada, I'm just going to lead it off the bat. He is another one of these guys that's pushing for that number 2 top competitor right now, and I think he will clear stage 1.
I have to echo that.
A little bit also a little bit bizarre that of this massive stacked group of the 70s, he's below like several, like he's ahead of Jun Sato, but he's below like 4 other names that we're about to go
Araki,
through.
Taro, Muto, Suzuki, Ayano.
Four other competitors we're about to mention. Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of Tada, we all picked him to clear. I think that was very obvious. That was a very obvious choice. So now at number 74, we have a guy who was cut last tournament, Araki, Naoyuki Araki. He had failed the warp wall last tournament. Naoyuki Araki is complicated because he can have a tournament where he'll just pop off and have an incredible run. And then other tournaments, he'll just disappoint, like when he failed the fishbone. So I don't really know what to think of him, and that's something that frustrates me. So, Flame, how do you feel about Araki going into this tournament?
No, I feel the same way. So, whenever I was doing this prediction, I kind of just mentally flipped a coin. Not really, but I was very conflicted on what to say. But I think he's at least going to clear stage 1.
I wish I could have that same optimism. I like Araki.
It's not optimism at all.
It's no, I know. Flip of the coin.
It's difficult because I really like Araki, and I think he has a lot of strengths, especially if he gets to stage 3. However, I fear that will not be the case. I think he will run out of time on the second warp wall.
The one bit of logic I can at least put to Araki, it's incredibly spread out his original appearances on this course as well. It should be said he actually made his debut in 29, which some people probably forget. The one bit of like consistency I can add to Araki's inconsistent results is that he's always gone clear, fail, clear, fail. He's had his fail, so by that logic, I'm going to say he clears in this tournament.
Ooh. Alright, just gonna write that down real quick, and then we will move on. All right, so from 74, we're going to 75. Kiyotaro Yamamoto. He's someone that I have always been incredibly high on. I've always stated that I think if he had gotten to stage 3, he would do incredibly well. He most recently had his stage 3 appearance where the swing edge did get him. Was it swing edge? No, Sidewinder. Sidewinder. My apologies. Yeah. Sidewinder. So I was disappointed because I looked very silly.
This was the guy that Ikatani was supporting as well, incidentally. I don't know if you just said that, I might have missed it.
Oh, no, I think that's 76.
Oh, sorry, are we on 70? Oh, sorry, no, sorry, I thought you were on 76, my bad.
Yeah, no worries. But they both failed the Sidewinder. But Kiyotaro Yamamoto, he disappointed me on stage 3, but he has yet to really disappoint me on stage 1 when I picked him to clear. I think I picked him to clear the last, 4 Sasuke things that we've done, so I'm going to continue picking him to clear stage 1. So he's clearing stage 1 in my thing. What do you think, honey?
So he is, he had a stage 1 fail in 37, but that was probably down to the rain. Interesting enough, this is the first tournament since 36 where he's not been number 90. I was a little disappointed, I'm not going to lie. He finally got to stage 3 and everyone's bigged him up in Sasuke Maniac and, forums and shit. And then he produced that performance in stage 3, which I thought was a little disappointing. I think I'm still going to say clear stage 1, but I'm going to have to actually really think about what he does beyond that. But I'll say he clears.
What do you think, Flame?
I will also say he clears.
Nice. Hold on, don't tell me my pen is running out of ink. I have to swap pens real quick.
This is why you should use your phone's notes app.
That's no fun. I like paper. So, now, this is the person that Naoki Gatani was supporting. Last tournament, Tomohiro Muto was a newcomer. Came seemingly out of nowhere.
I was going to say, no, it was his second appearance, actually. He failed the Dragon Glider in 37. I don't know if he was cut or not, but... No, sorry, in 38, sorry, not 37.
But, shocked everyone, kind of coming out of nowhere, beating stage 1, beating stage 2, had a very similar result to Kiyotaro Yamamoto. But the question now is, can he replicate that result? And that's starting with beating stage 1. Do you think that'll happen, honey?
You know what, I'm going to offer something a little different here, and I'm going to say no. I'm going to say he shocks the world by failing the Dragon Glider, let's say. I was toying with the Warped Wall, but I'll say Dragon Glider.
What do you think, Flame?
I am going to say clear.
I actually side with Hunter on this sentiment. I think he is more of a one-hit wonder, and I think that he will also be taken out by the Dragon Glider. So now this rounds out our 70s with number 77 of important people in the 70s. Yusuke Suzuki, last tournament, made history by being the oldest person to ever get to stage 3.
And he was fast-forwarded.
And he was fast-forwarded in that, yeah. Maybe they're just assuming
was he fast-forwarded twice or just on stage 2?
I know Tada got the double fast-forward. I don't know about
I don't
Suzuki,
think
though.
Yusuke got double fast-forwarded. I think it was just stage 2. But it was ridiculous that he got fast-forwarded when he made history. But he could make history again this tournament. And that, again, also starts with stage 1. And Flame, do you think that he's on the road to making history a second time?
So, Suzuki has never cleared stage 1 in back-to-back tournaments. And I think that trend is sadly going to continue. I'm going to say Dragon Glider.
Flame streak
Which means
of
he'll
5
probably clear
straight
in 41.
clears. Flame had 5 straight clears, and that streak ends with Yusuke Suzuki. Sadly, I do have to echo Flame, and that I think the Dragon Glider will get Yusuke Suzuki.
That's funny. I thought we were about to agree on the same thing then, but then I realised that actually I think he's gonna fail. Don't get me wrong, but I actually think he's gonna time out on the second warped wall. But I will
That's what he did in 38.
Yeah, but I will give him huge credit because I did not expect to see him. I didn't expect him to clear stage 1 in 39, let alone clear stage 2 as well. So I will give him huge props for that.
Definitely.
Yeah, sure. Suzuki's good. He's just inconsistent. He is.
I think he's a bit like he's just a slightly better Matsuda, where I think his biggest weakness is his age. His age does play a big part in his results and performances.
So now we're going into the 80s, and we have 3 straight women we're going to be discussing. Our first one is Ayano Ashima. For a very long time, it has been predicted that she will be the first Japanese woman to clear Stage 1 since Sasuke 2. Last tournament, she really frustrated a lot of people by getting to the warp wall and failing. I've always had high hopes for Ayano. Sadly, my optimism has been shot down multiple times. And sadly, I think this one will be a more pessimistic turn. I think Ayano will fail the fishbone. What do you think?
I think I can go first on this one.
You know, I'm in a similar boat as Puma. I think I've predicted Ayano to clear Stage 1 for the previous 2 tournaments. I've been disappointed both times that she was so close last time. That was sad. And maybe this is just some reverse psychology, I don't know. I think Ayano is gonna replicate her result from last time and fail the second wall.
I'm going to agree with Flame, actually. That's what I thought she was going to do. It was disappointing to see her get so close. She is a phenomenal athlete, it should be said, but she just hasn't been able to get over the line.
She can be Stage 1.
Yeah, she's 28, so she's still in that prime, physical point in her career. But no, I can't see it. I feel like it's going to happen when we all say she's going to fail. I feel like that's how it's going to go with these predictions. So I'm going to say she times out on the second walk wall.
Yes. So moving on from a Japanese woman, we are moving on to international contestants, which I just want to quickly make a quick aside that I'm happy that we're having international contestants back for the first time since COVID has happened. It's something that we thought would not happen. Yeah, it was very unexpected. I'm very happy. I'm very excited. So the first of our 3 international contestants is Stephanie Edelman. I don't know too much about her, so Hunter, if you have anything that you have potentially...
So she was one of the pro ninjas in Ninja Warrior UK. It's not called Season 6. It's called Race for Glory. I can't remember exactly who she raced against, but she was there. I would have probably seen her because I was in the audience for the whole filming. I actually forgot that she was in Sasuke 36 and failed. It wasn't called the TIE Fighter in 36, but the Wing Slider. Yeah, I'd completely forgotten that this is not actually her Sasuke debut. She's a strong athlete. She's in that group of like the Germans and Austrian competitors that because she is Austrian, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. She's in that European group of competitors amongst the Germans and the Austrians that are really solid. Especially on the women's side. I don't know how much training she's put in for actual Sasuke obstacles themselves this tournament, but I do think she will get to the Dragon Glider at least, and I'm just going to go with the safe option and say Dragon Glider.
What do you think, Flame?
I am also going to go with the safe option of Dragon Glider.
So, I don't know too much about Stephanie Edelman. However, based on the little bit of research that I've done, I've been very impressed. Talking with Irish too, I know that he says that Sasuke, in terms of the competitive level, is behind the rest of the ninja world, which I disagree with, but that is the discussions that I've had with Irish. So I do hold international contestants, especially, to a higher esteem, even though they may have this idea of the intimidation factor of being on the OG course. However, I do think that Stephanie Edelman will shock, and I think that she will become the third woman ever to clear stage 1. Yeah, and speaking of her being potentially the third woman, we are moving on to who was the second woman to clear stage 1, and that is Jessie Graff. Jessie, as someone who I've met Jessie Graff in person, is an absolutely wonderful human. Had a wonderful time at it was originally Ninja Warrior Weekend. This was before the National Ninja League was a thing, back in 2014, 2013,
it's been a few
2014.
Years then. It was a few years ago that you met her.
Yeah, I first met her, and then I met her through the National Ninja League a little bit. And I've been super hype on Jessie Graff. I knew when she first competed in 34 that I had full confidence that she would beat stage 1, and I believe I did pick her to beat stage 2. I'd have to look back at the old papers. She did have an injury a couple of years ago that prevented her from competing on American Ninja Warrior, as well as Sasuke after she was invited a couple times, but it didn't seem to deter her too much. So now the question becomes, Flame, do you think that she is 3 for 3 on stage 1?
I had a hard time deciding if I think she would or not because of the injury. But doubting Jessie Graff isn't a very smart option, so I'm going to say she clears for a third time.
Yes, I have to agree.
I wouldn't be shocked if she failed, though.
I don't know her recent ANW record. I know she's obviously had a few more struggles. I think she failed early in qualifying in the latest season this year. Again, obviously, she's had this horrible recent injury, like within the last 2 years, which was actually shown in a special video that's went up on the Sasuke channel. Obviously,
awesome.
That video was great.
I am going to say, I just can't doubt Jessie. She's just such a rock solid woman. She is arguably, actually, no, I don't even have to say arguably. She is without a doubt the top female athlete on the planet right now, even with her injuries. I'm gonna say she clears.
Yeah, and the video we were mentioning, please check it out if you haven't. It's hilarious. I love her relationship with Shingo. It's funny, and then Shingo dunking on Yamada.
Sorry, that's the other thing. I'm so glad you brought it up. Her absolute love to try and learn the language and because how many foreign competitors have we seen in 25 years that just show up, compete, and that's really the end of it? The fact that she's really, I know obviously back in the day Levi got involved with the All-Stars, with training and going to their different places, but the fact that she really has worked to learn the language is a massive indicator of the kind of person that she is as well. So I'll give you got to give props to that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And again, my favorite part of the video is it doesn't even involve Jessie. It's just that when Shingo was making fun of Yamada for being 60, that was just hilarious.
He's only 57.
Was it the same video? Wasn't it the same video where we realized Mr. Octopus was in?
Yeah, Octopus was at he attended.
I think Hangglider was there too.
I didn't see Hangglider, but I would love to see it if he actually did show up to attend.
Him there.
Shinji Kobayashi was there. I don't know why all these random people were invited. Just to watch. It seemed really bizarre, but not that I'm complaining.
I guess, quick aside, this was also the Sasuke 40 trials. We don't have any contestants that went through it, but Yuji Washimi, former first placer, had to go through the Sasuke trials. Sadly, did not qualify. But I think it's sad that they didn't bring him back and made him go through a trial. But that is neither here or there. We are moving on to 88, which is our last, I guess, well, not our second to last celebrity, and that is Snowman. So Snowman has done really well as of late, actually, and I'm pleasantly surprised. He's another person like ABCZ and Kenji Darvish, where they truly do care about the course, and they do, they don't, half-ass it. They don't, just show up to make an appearance. They actually want to do well. So I'm actually pretty high up on Snowman this tournament, and I think he will clear.
I'm having to think, actually. Is it the last two tournaments he's cleared, or was it or was it just the last one?
Didn't he fail the wall in 39?
No, he...
I think it was the conveyor belt.
Maybe
the belt
cleared 38.
Yeah. Okay, so he's going for 3 in a row here.
Failures,
yeah, he seems to have taken over the Darvish mantle. And he obviously, he trains well. He trains hard for the course. I'm going to say... actually, I'm going to offer something a little bit different, actually. I was going to say he clears, but you know what? We've agreed on so many things. I'm actually going to say he fails the Dragon Glider. I'm being pessimistic on this one.
What do you think, Flame?
Speaking of agreeing, I don't agree with either of you. He fails the second wall.
Ooh.
Yeah, and side note for Darvish, he wanted to show up, but I think he had, COVID bad, and he was still sort of recovering, not at full 100%. He's fine now.
I was going to bring up Darvish at the end of stage 1, because I've got a few names I wanted to mention, but I assumed he wasn't here because he'd given up on Sasuke, because he's obviously been on a horrible run of form recently. But if it is actually just COVID, then I'll give him massive benefit of the doubt.
For 41.
That's good. I hope to see him back in 41. As much as we goof on Darvish, it is going to feel weird
him in the predictions in the past.
It's nice seeing celebrities that do actually care about it.
Yeah, it was weird when I was in Japan and there was a commercial that had Kenji Darvish in it, and I was like, whoa.
Did he have his face paint on? Because I imagine that's like the only way you could have known it was him.
Everything. It was his whole band. So now we are moving on to technically our last international competitor. It depends if you count Kane as an international competitor. But Oliver Edelman, who is originally, this is before I did my research, I thought that Stephanie and Oliver were brother and sister, but it turns out they are married. That would
I think they're not both.
Yeah, because they're not both. So, again, an Austrian competitor. I don't know too much about this couple, but I've heard good things. So, Flame, I'll start with you. What do you think?
I don't think I've heard anything, but I want to be nice today, so I'll say second wall.
Hunter, do you have anything that you know about?
Yeah, again, I know a lot more about Stephanie than I do about Oliver. I know very little about Oliver. I think... 37 had a lot of international competitors. Not many of them did well, but aside from 37, the random male foreign competitors that turn up in Sasuke before 37, a lot of them have done well. So, I'm going to say he clears.
Yeah, I think Oliver will be a lot like Ben Toyer from a couple tournaments ago. Just a random dude that I didn't know too much about, but they ended up clearing, and they did pretty well. So I'm picking Oliver.
Also in 31 and was it 31 and 32 where they had a male foreign competitor that got to stage 2?
There was Alexander Mars.
And then Andre Sim got to stage.
Obviously got to stage 3.
Yeah, that was the Swedish representative in both, I believe.
And he's German as well, Oliver, I should point out. So he's, in a way, our next best thing we could get, since we couldn't get Rene.
That is true. So now, the long-awaited return, the person that I think everyone in this chat is the most excited for seeing, is Kane Kazuki. We have not seen Kane since Sasuke 8, when he had one of the most memorable final stage runs of all time. There was always that rumor that it was because of the Game Boy game, but based on the YouTube video that he uploaded, based on him saying that he's watched every Sasuke tournament, that he still pays attention to what's going on, I don't think that is the case. I think him talking about it and that idea of he was afraid to fail when he was younger, that he never had the time to with his acting, I think it really speaks. And now that he wants to compete at an age where he wants to show his daughter that he can still compete, I think it's really awesome. I'm so happy to see Kane. He's still the only person who has at least 5 stage 1 clears without a failure. That is something that is potentially on the line. For me, as much as I would love to see Kane clear, and I think if he beats the Dragon Glider, I do see him clearing. However, based on watching the YouTube video, based on everything that I've been seeing, he has struggled so much with the Dragon Glider because he jumps far too late, and I think that will happen, sadly, on the Dragon Glider.
I have to really
feel
echo.
the exact same way.
Yeah, I think we're all echoing the same thing here. The YouTube video was amazing to see that level of detail. Just that level of detail and dedication he's putting in terms of coming back, and also the amount of training he's putting in. Like what was it, 6 months worth of training?
Yeah, it was 5 months worth of training.
Oh, 5 months, sorry.
And he's been training like stage 2. He trained for like the back stream. He was training like upper body stuff. Like he believes that he can get to stage 2 and 3.
The I guess depending on if you count the sextuple steps. I mean, in fact, no, sorry, you can't even say it wasn't. Sorry, it's not the sextuple steps. Anyway, it's the quad steps. I completely forgot what the name of the first obstacle was just then. Is it called the quad steps these days?
It's called the quad steps these days, but it's basically the quintuple step.
I was about to say, I was trying to think what's the first obstacle he could get to on the course that he's attempted before, because obviously the warped wall is technically the double warped wall.
Technically the warped wall.
But then I would say not the warped wall, because it's a different obstacle technically, with it being two walls instead of one.
Yeah, it's not same. Even, yeah.
So I was actually thinking it might literally be it might actually be the conveyor belt.
The conveyor.
Oh no! Sorry, or the spider. Technically, the spider walk, I suppose, because the spider walk and the spider drop count as 2 separate obstacles.
Yeah.
Because everything else that's sort of similar, like the steps, is a different kind of step obstacle to the one he did in 8. The warped wall is the double warped wall. The rolling log is a different version to the one he attempted. Yeah. I'm going to say he fails the Dragon Glider, though. I think his training showed he massively struggles with it.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
But he could have improved.
He could have, and that's something that I'm hoping for. I want to see Kane clear. This is someone that I would absolutely love seeing clear. So now we are moving on to 93. 92, they decided to put a rando, our highest rando. We don't care about that.
Rando Olympian.
Yeah. So now we're moving to Tomohiro Kawaguchi. He has been, in one word, underwhelming as of late. I'm starting to think he is past his prime. I know Hunter is not too big on Kawaguchi to begin with.
But even I feel bad for him in recent tournaments.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do you think Kawaguchi gets out of his little slump and...
So I don't know if I remember this correctly, but I'm not sure if he said if he fails the warped wall again in this tournament, he's going to give up on Sasuke. He's obviously failed it.
I think he said that.
He's failed it 3 times in a row. He's now 41. According to Sasukepedia, he's now unemployed as well, so that's a bit of a rip.
Yeah, his shoe business is not a thing anymore.
I think, don't get me wrong, maybe his business and personal matters, his general life has impacted his results recently. Possibly, I don't want to use that in the same excuse with Shunsuke. I really felt for him I think it was 38 where he got to the warped wall with tons of time left, but I could tell just from the very first attempt, his legs, he just didn't have any energy left in his legs, and I knew he's not going to get up this. Again, failed the warped wall in 39 as well. I do actually feel for him, even though I think he was overhyped when he was in his prime. Regretfully, I'm going to say he fails the warped wall, the second warped wall again. But if he clears, I will take my hat off to him, and I will be happy for him.
What do you think, Flame?
This might be setting the bar a little bit too high, because I'm pretty sure if the wall is high enough, then there's no way he can beat it, and there's already a very low chance he can beat the normal wall. But I'm going to take those low odds, whether it's smart or not. I think Kawaguchi is clearing stage 1.
So now I'm the split vote on this. I was always really high on Kawaguchi. I always picked him to get very far. I thought for a while he was the second best competitor. It was between him, Yusuke, and an American competitor. But now, I do think, sadly, he is past his prime. He's kind of entering the Yamamoto and Yamada phase of his career if he so chooses to go down that route. So I sadly think he will fail the second wall. So then this leads us to someone who has had a lot of history failing warp walls, and I get very mad about their warp wall technique. Ryo Mitachi. Ryo got back to stage 3. Sadly, for the second time in a row, he did not clear stage 3. But he still has proven that if he's able to get to stage 3, he is a big threat. So now, Flame, the question is, does he get the opportunity to try to get to stage 3 by clearing stage 1?
So the thing with Ryo, I feel like you could put every obstacle on the course onto the list randomizer for random.org. Randomize it 10 times, whatever the first one that comes up is, whether it's the rope on the final or the quad steps, whether those two, anything in between. If he fails anywhere, it makes sense, because it's Ryo.
Yes.
I do not think he's going to fail stage 1, though. He's clearing.
Ooh.
I am going to throw caution to the wind and say he clears as well. He's had a little bit of a resurgence recently. You know, he's cleared stage 1 3 of the last 4 tournaments, and his one stage 1 fail was just down to a silly mistake where he rushed the fishbone.
Yeah, I mean, he gets so tired out by the tackle that he kind of has to rush to it. Maybe,
yeah. I think I've seen a few things in like YouTube comments and in the forums and Sasuke Maniac and stuff like that. I think he's really simmered down as a competitor. I think when he was going through that slump, he was like massively in his own head, and thought like he was going to be the next big thing, and like almost like he had to be the next big thing. Obviously, American Ninja Warrior going to America sort of brought him down a few pegs, I think. But I think the last few tournaments he's really simmered as a person. He's trained a lot more with the other competitors, and I think that's played a part. He's not gone down the Yamada route, if that makes sense. He's not like self-centered or like self-focused himself to be completely. I feel like I have to Ryo, succeed.
I feel like back in 31, before 31 aired, but when it was revealed there was a winner, I think nearly everyone thought it was going to be Ryo. And then when it turned out to be Yusuke, I think the sort of reaction to that kind of just got to Ryo, got to his head a bit.
Well, everyone's obviously seen everyone's obviously seen the infamous no celebration from Ryo in 31.
Yeah.
But I think he's going to clear. What do you think, Puma?
I am the one that is pessimistic with this. I still think Ryo struggles immensely with the tackle warp wall combo. And I think the second wall does get to him. He's going to be out of energy. He's going to do his weird warp wall strat that I don't like. And
to be fair, he didn't do it on the first wall in 39.
That is true.
He broke the trend.
Ryo could be one of those specific runners where, depending on if there's a change to the time limit, it could influence our predictions.
Yeah.
Yes. So now 95.
The last 6 runs, we're into the big guns here.
Yes. Our only perfect attendance through the 25 years and 40 tournaments of Sasuke, Shingo. I would have loved to see him at 4,000. Sadly, the producers do not think that would have been a cool idea.
Right decision to put him at 95 below the 5 names that are ahead of him, do you think? Outside of obviously not being 4,000.
I personally am fine with having the 4 winners be the final 4. I thought he should have been 96 though.
Okay. Fair enough. Well, he's pretty close at least.
Yeah, pretty close. Shingo has not cleared since Sasuke 31. He recently did an interview expressing a lot of disappointment that he's had in himself for underperforming. I think he's had a lot of opportunities to clear, especially his Dragon Glider failures have really been disappointing.
38 I think was if the he big one, wasn't it?
Yeah,
he could have had it.
38, he finally got past the trampoline, and then he just went too fast on the transfer, and his hand placement was wrong.
39, I personally think he fell off the silk slider, and they gave him a pass, and then he just filled the fishbone.
I think maybe the slippery conditions were starting to kick in at that point on the course, and I do think he sort of panicked a little bit. I think he had a close call on the dismount of the rolling hill, then the silk, and I think he just started to worry a little bit.
Yeah. So for me, this tournament, I do think he will beat the Dragon Glider. However, he has never faced the tackle warp wall combo. And I think for the first time in Shingo's career, he will fail a warp wall. He'll fail the second warp wall.
would be his best
Not
run.
Not going to break his shoulder on the tackle.
No.
It would be his best run since 30.
But it would be fun to see Shingo actually take on the tackle on stage 1 for the first time and be the second person to face the tackle on stage 1 and 2.
Flame?
I'm going to say Dragon Glider.
I'm also going to say Dragon Glider. As much as I'd love to see him clear or beat the Dragon Glider, I think that's as far as he can go. But I'll be nice and say
the dismount.
Oh, but that'd be even worse than any other Dragon Glider type
I would
failure.
cry. I would cry.
And yeah, I do think regretfully he will
it's going to be like a Sasuke 16. It's going to be the foot moment.
Yeah, I do think regretfully it is going to be 10 in a row on the failure front for Shingo.
Speaking of
we don't expect him. We don't expect him to clear that at the end of the day.
Speaking of someone we don't expect to clear.
I don't think we expect many of these people to clear, to be fair.
We have Katsumi Yamada. Has not cleared since Sasuke 12. Hasn't been really close since Sasuke 18. However, I love the new approach he's had in his life, where he's kind of realized, like, yeah, I was kind of an asshole back in the day, to both contestants and my family, and took a game show maybe a little too seriously. And now he's kind of more like the cool grandpa of the chorus. He trains the Black Tigers. He is always ready to be involved in positive ways. I'm really happy to see this part of Yamada. Sadly, though, I don't think he'll even be close to clearing. So the question is now, Hunter, where do you think he will fail?
His 38 run really showed that. I think his chilled approach now to because he was like chatting to people on the sidelines. He was smiling. He was having a laugh. He was enjoying himself, which I feel like is the first time ever he's done that. It's certainly been a long while since he cracked a smile on the course. Correct me if I'm wrong. The last tournament was his 30th appearance, and he produced his worst ever result, failing the first obstacle.
Quad step.
Which again, even that, like, you never in a million years would have thought a few years ago that Yamada would have been giggling or smiling with failing the first obstacle the way he did. Which, it just shows how much more chilled he is. And he felt the rolling hill anyway, afterwards. I'm going to say the fishbone. I want to say the Dragon Glider, but I'm going to try and be a little bit more realistic, and I'll say the fishbone.
What do you think, Flame?
I'll give him props though if he one steps. I'm going to give him props though if he one steps the steps again.
Yeah,
my heart will be in my mouth for about 5 seconds.
Yamada, despite his struggles, he is always, until 39, he has been phenomenal at the steps for no logical reason.
Yeah, I sadly have to agree, and the fishbone will be Yamada's final time, or his final resting spot. So now, 97 is Kazuhiko Akiyama. I don't think any of us expected him to ever come back after 28. We saw him briefly in a Super Mario Maker promo where he failed jumping onto the rolling log, or rolling hill. But besides that, he hasn't really been involved with Sasuke all too much.
Was there for 32 to try and see Nagano's retirement, but obviously ended up missing it anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, even if he was there, I don't know how well he could see it.
That's true. Sadly, Akiyama, he was never able to really replicate his success after his total victory. Sasuke 12, he got very close to attempting the final stage again. Akiyama, I think, as much as people can say he definitely underperformed in his career, I can say that I think being a grand champion, being able to compete at the level that he did despite his failing eyesight was something that was really incredible and really impressive, and I'm really happy to see him back regardless of how well he does. And the question now is, though, how well do you think he'll do, Flame?
You know, for a completely different reason than for Yamada, I'm gonna say this might be pretty positive, but I'm gonna say fishbone.
Yeah, I have to agree with the fact that I think the fishbone will be the ending of Akiyama.
Yeah, I echo all of Puma's comments there. I think some people, I don't know, maybe it's the fans that didn't see it at the time, or have only become like fans of Sasuke since Akiyama retired, I think like not enough like credit is given to him for just what his life must be like, having to struggle with this condition. The fact that he won, the fact that he continued to compete, albeit didn't really have much success after he total victoried. I would argue he's on par with Kane in terms of like just like we never could have predicted that we'd see him back. Kane, I didn't think he'd ever compete again, but Akiyama, I was even more confident I'd never see him compete again after 28. So yeah, it's great to see him. I love his theme. I'm really going to look forward to hearing it again. Even though I think we did hear it in 38 because some fat comedian guy impersonated him, and they actually played his theme.
Apparently Akiyama actually found that funny.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough actually.
It's sad that we don't have, as much as I criticize Gunpei, it is sad that we don't have all 6 All-Stars competing for the first time since...
Takeda will be there.
Takeda, I think, was there to watch, but Takeda and Gunpei, both of their reasons to not compete, the heart condition and the being made of glass bones and paper skin, yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah.
So why he wouldn't compete.
Yeah, but at least Takeda is there to watch, I suppose. We haven't seen anything to say Gunpei was there, but I imagine he wasn't there. Otherwise, we would have heard about it by now.
So
I think, I can't see him getting past the fishbone, and I'm actually wondering whether I should say he gets that far.
The fishbone's his ceiling.
I don't want to be pessimistic. I could easily see him failing the dismount of the rolling hill. But I'm going to be optimistic because of the soft spot I have for Akiyama, and I'll say the fishbone.
Yeah, I don't want to be pessimistic for any Grand Champion.
No.
So, speaking of one Grand Champion, we moved on to our second and our final All-Star, Makoto Nagano. He retired in 32, but we saw him in 38 because he wanted to lift the spirits of the Japanese people due to COVID. And we all saw the teaser of him on the Dragon Glider, and Hunter was the only one right saying that he was going to fail the Dragon Glider. So now he's back in 40. He's been training on a Dragon Glider with his son. So he has a lot more experience in training, but now he's also 50 years old. So the question does become, regardless of his training with his son, does he actually able to clear? And what I'm assuming will be his last tournament, because he said that he would like to compete in the 40th one as like a one-off. And that this was before 38, so he had planned out that he was going to compete in 40. For me, as much as I would love to see 50-year-old Makoto Nagano on stage 2, I don't think it'll happen. I think he'll fail the Dragon Glider.
If it does happen, I will cry.
It's not going to happen.
But I think it's not going to happen. He's failing the Dragon Glider.
Sorry, where did you say? Did you say Dragon Glider as well, Puma?
I said Dragon Glider.
Yeah, I think he'll do better than he did in 38, as in he won't just fall off the first bar. Like, he'll actually attempt to transfer, but he'll just mess up the timing.
I'm going to be stupidly positive because I still think Nagano is the best competitor of all time in Sasuke, and I'm going to say he times out at the second warped wall, even though I wouldn't be surprised if he fails the Dragon Glider.
That would be interesting.
There's an alternate universe where he gets to stage 3. I hope we live in it.
Yeah. Now we got Yuji Hara. So, after his pipe slider fail, honestly, I'm still disappointed. I'm so sad about that pipe slider failure.
That was heartbreaking.
That was absolutely heartbreaking.
And that was the most heartbreaking fail I've seen on Sasuke since Takeda 24.
I was so happy to see Yuji come back after what looked like his career fell off after 28. And all this culmination of him finally getting back to the final stage, and it just got cut short. He hasn't been able to replicate that success since, but he is still showing that despite an increased age, he is still a very consistent and very dedicated competitor. So now the question becomes, Hunter, does he get another chance by clearing stage 1?
So he's timed out in the last 2 tournaments. So after his brilliant performance in 37, timed out on the wall lift in 38 and then failed the warped wall in 39. I know though you could obviously put that down to the rain, I don't know if he clears in this tournament, if he'll become the oldest stage 1, because he's 44. I don't know if he will become the oldest clear, if he does it. I think he's just a great example. Hello? Am I still here?
You're here.
Oh, sorry. I didn't hear anyone say yeah to my oldest competitor question.
I was trying to think. I think it's based on, like, if they even know how many days the guy in Sasuke 1 was. The difference. Maybe they'll just say tied.
Maybe they'll say tied, yeah. I think he's an amazing credit to saying that, like, just because you're getting older, you know, you can still compete. And, you know, Suzuki's been leading that on that front as well, obviously. You know what, sod it. I'm just going to say he clears.
I'm also going to say clear.
I could easily see a fail somewhere, maybe a timeout on the wall again, but I'm just going to say he clears. Through no logic whatsoever.
I think Yuji unfortunately got rained on last tournament, and I think this tournament he wants to come back with a vengeance. This is his tournament where he wants to show that he still has it, that he's still a top competitor, that he can still compete with the younger competitors, and that he will clear and tie or maybe break for the second in oldest competitor ever. So now it goes to our double grand champion, the competitor I consider the best competitor of all time, Yusuke Morimoto. The rain happened last tournament, and that caused him to fail. But
there's no rain, he's clearing. End of story.
So Flame already has a clear. I have a clear. Hunter has a clear.
And speaking of clears, or wins in a way, I jumped to Fall Guys just briefly because I was tired of getting shot to death. And we now have an official, on-video proof that I can win a game on Fall Guys, because I just did it, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice.
Flame, Flame, I think that's 6 now, or 7, I can't remember, I think it's 6. One last thing, since we've wrapped up stage 1, I actually added up the age of the final 6 runners. Because obviously they've gone very historic heavy with these last 6 runs. You know, they've got the 2 all-stars that have been there since the beginning, and then the 4 champions. Only the second tournament ever where all 4 champions have competed together as well.
First being 21, I believe.
22.
22.
22.
I added up the age of all 6 competitors, and they combined to an age of 279. Which means divided by 6 means they have an average age of 46.5. And let's be honest, the average age is only that low because Yusuke is only 31.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if we're doing this for this predictions. I can't remember if we did it for the last one. Does anyone have any randos? Because I have one.
I have 2 randos.
You have 2 randos. I have 0 randos.
Oh, so let me re-clarify that. I have 1 rando, but he's actually a named competitor that I was going to bring up. So we mentioned Yamamoto, the Black Tiger. I'm going to put my hopes on the other one, number 49. We haven't mentioned him. So whether you want to call him a rando or not, I guess we'll say yes because we didn't count his name in our predictions just now. But yeah, I want to give him a shout out. I want to give a shout out to the 2 trial competitors because this is the first time in a long while we've had a Sasuke trials. 2 competitors are competing in this tournament. I believe their numbers 36 and 37. And then the only other person I wanted to just briefly bring up, again, we've already discussed it because Kenji Darvish isn't here, but his fellow bandmate is stepping in for him, Yakuta, at 80. Yes. I don't think he'll clear, but I just wanted to give him a quick shout out. Again,
he's had some funny
I assumed Kenji Darvish had quit, but he's actually got COVID. So this guy is Yutaka. I said Yakuta, I just realized. Yutaka is stepping up for him in Darvish's place for this tournament. I just want to give a shout out to those people.
Hurry.
But we have our numbers, we have our clears, and I think we should probably let Flame lead the way from here, at least for stage 2.
Yes, so real quick.
How many do I have? 21, right?
You have 20, I believe. Let me recount. 1, 2, 3.
I think probably the best way for us to do this is we will just let Flame take over for the next 10 minutes or so. Let him go through all his stage 2, stage 3, and if it happens, stage 4. I think, pretty sure it will happen.
Yeah, I'll stick around until I have.
We'll let Flame go through all his, and then we'll go back to stage 2 to cover mine and Puma's.
Real quick, in terms of numbers for stage 1 clears, so we have me and Hunter both have 15 clears, and Flame has 20.
Okay, I didn't realize I was being that pessimistic.
15 is pretty good. I wouldn't say
how
that's
many clears was it in the last tournament? Wasn't it around about that number in the last tournament?
14.
Yeah. So actually, I feel like, you know what? Can I chuck another 2 randos on top of that, because I feel like 15's too low. Can I bump mine up to 3 randos? Well, sorry, the other Black Tiger, if you count him as a rando, and then 2 more randos, so 3 randos total to get me to 17.
I did some cutting this morning. At first, I had like 25.
Okay, so now we have 3 randos. Let me add.
I just feel like 15's too low, considering the only reason we had 14 was because of rain. I didn't realize I'd gone so low on the clear count.
Yeah, so now we have 18 clears for Hunter, 15 for me, and 20 for Flame. So Flame, I will tell you the competitor that you have. We'll go through the list, and you'll tell me if they clear or what obstacle they'll fail. So we'll just start with the 2 randos. How do you think rando number 1 does?
Rolling log.
Rolling log. How do you think rando number 2 does?
And because it's a cliche, even though it really doesn't do much anymore, Kudari.
The Kudari. Alright, so now we're going to go through the full list. So, Koji Saikawa. How do you think he does?
Clear.
Clear. So now we have Yoshinori Issa. How do you think he does? Clear. Ooh. Alright, so now we have Yusuke Goto.
Conveyor.
Conveyor belt.
Timeout. He's not going to fall in the pool.
Yeah. Alright.
I hope we get to see the pool.
He will after he times out.
So now 41, Hideki Ajima.
Backstream.
Backstream? We haven't had a backstream fail in a while. 42, so get the Rene.
Wall lift.
Wall lift. 50, Yoshiyuki Yamamoto. Clear. That was, I think, obvious. Number 55, Hyoki.
Hyoki, not as obvious because of age, but I do think he clears.
So now we have Hayate Kajihara.
He's gonna clear.
$72, Jun Sato.
He is also gonna clear.
73, Tada.
Clear.
74, Araki.
I'm gonna say a wall lift.
Wall lift. 75, Kiyotaro Yamamoto.
I feel like a lot of Kitaro's problems is just he gets in his head too much. Not on stage 1, but on stage 2, and as we saw last time, stage 3. So I'm gonna say Kitaro here is gonna be a wall lift timeout.
Tomohiro Muto.
He's not. He's gonna clear.
Ooh. Jesse Graff.
Jesse is gonna clear.
Kawaguchi.
Kawaguchi is gonna be a conveyor timeout.
Rio.
Time up.
Rio clears.
Yuji.
Yuji is a wall lift timeout.
And Yusuke Morimoto.
Yusuke clears.
Alright, so let me count how many. 1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm pretty sure I have 11.
Yeah, you would tie Sasuke 4 for
I stand by that.
Sasuke 4 is finally tied with 11. So now we have 11 people. So starting with Koji Saikawa, how do you think he does on stage 3?
He is gonna fail the sideliner.
Sideliner? How about Yoshinori Issa?
The first jump of the cliffhanger dimension.
Oh yes, that is true. Specify the flip. That is good. First. Yoshiyuki Yamamoto.
Clear.
Clear. Ooh. Hioki.
Well, what do you think I'm gonna say? Because I'm gonna say it.
What are you gonna say?
The first cliffhanger transfer.
He did shock everyone by getting there when so many other people
finished in the top. I was gonna say finished in the top 3. I want to say.
Yeah, tied with Kajihara for second place.
Yep. And speaking of Kajihara, he's up next.
He's gonna fail the second jump.
Second jump.
I almost had him failing the vertical limit, but I changed that about 20 seconds ago.
All right, so now we got Jun Sato.
Jun Sato. I want him to clear the cliffhanger so badly.
Me too.
But
you know what?
Oh no.
He had a torn Achilles. That's a leg injury.
That's true.
That's not an upper body injury.
That's true.
Jun Sato's getting to the vertical limit and failing there.
All right. So now we have
lost
Tada.
Some weight from that broken. Jesus. Yeah. Sorry.
No worries.
Tada's gonna clear.
Tada will clear. We have 2 clears. All right. So now we have Tomohiro Muto.
Tomo and Jesse both fail the swing edge.
Swing edge. And then we have Rio.
Rio fails the second jump on the cliffhanger.
And then Yusuke. Do we get 3 final stage
clears.
finals for the first time? Ooh, we'll have just 3 for the first time since Sasuke 12. Flame's favorite.
It's the second time it's ever happened.
Just to clarify, his 3 are Yamamoto, Yusuke, and did you say Tada?
Tada.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So arguably, the number 1 competitor and arguably the 2 big. In fact, you could just flat out say it. Probably the 3 best competitors.
I'd say 1 and then 2A and 2B.
You could just simply say the top 3 competitors, arguably right now on Sasuke.
Yeah. So now we have the rock wall, we have the salmon ladder, and the rope climb. How does
first time we'll see this final stage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Yoshiyuki is gonna time out early salmon ladder.
Salmon ladder. How does Tada?
Tada's gonna time out early rope.
And how does Yusuke do?
And Yusuke is gonna time out a little bit further than Tada.
Alright, so Yusuke is your first placer.
Yeah, what a surprise.
What a big
What a surprise. I know.
Yeah. It's not like it's happened a billion times.
So now we have Hunter.
So just to, because obviously Flame had to rush through that. So Flame's predictions are now done.
Yes.
Just to remind everyone, stage 2, because we know there's no changes, is rolling log, the 2 salmon ladders, spider walk, spider drop, backstream, conveyor belt, wall lift. Can we remember what the time limit was in the last tournament?
105.
105.
Yeah.
I imagine it'd probably be
close. Too high.
Maybe like 95 would be good. So now
that was probably the biggest mistake, wasn't it? Not changing anything on stage 2 and making the time limits. Oh, sorry, they did technically change the rolling log. They made it easier.
Yeah.
So I had a look. Whilst Flame was covering his results, I actually had a look through all the numbers again. We could be watching one of the most spread out, clear, spread out results-wise tournaments ever in stage 1. Because we could get a clear as low as 10. We've got a big guy runner going in the 20s. We're probably going to see some randos that none of us predicted clear at some point.
Yeah.
We could have a stacked field in the 40s, maybe some of whom clear. And then a long run of no clears, then the 70s, then maybe 1 or 2 clears in the 80s, then the big guns in the early 90s, and then, let's be honest, most of the last few guys. Maybe the last
99 and 4,000.
I wouldn't be surprised, if we see Rio clear it, we could see Rio clear at 94, and then we wouldn't see anyone clear until... and there's no guarantee Rio will clear anyway.
Remember when Tada was the last clear in 39 and he was 91?
Theoretically, if my man Edelman clears at 90, we could actually have... someone clear at 90, and then nobody clear until Yusuke clears at 100, depending on how the results go.
Now that would be something.
I think the biggest gap between clears was in 12 because there was one with Koji
One
Mata.
and then 70.
And then 70, yeah. Okay, yeah. So
that's not happening.
Apologies
here.
for that interlude. Let's get into it.
So now our first rando. How do they do?
Oh shit! I forgot about these. Okay, one of them's my Black Tiger. I am saying he's going to get this far, but he's not. I don't really know anything about him. I'm not going to lie. So I'm just going to say he times out on the wall lift.
All right, your Black Tiger wall lift, and then you have two more randos. How do they do?
Fuck, going up the salmon. One going up the salmon ladder, one going down the salmon ladder. Let's just say.
That's
that
covers me over. For randos.
That covers me over, yeah.
All right, so now we go to the real people. So Koji Saikawa.
Right, so he's yet to clear stage 2. Am I correct in saying?
He's done salmon ladder, spider walk, wall lift. So he's gotten better every time.
Again, I think a lot of this is going to come down to the time limit, and we don't know. So I'm going to take the safe bet and just say wall lift again.
All right, so now we have Yoshinori Issa.
I think he clears.
And then we have Sugeta Rene. Does he clear for the first time?
I've had a mind blank who this guy was. What was it? What's his connection or what's his association? He's not with a group, is he?
He's not with anyone. He has competed twice. He failed the salmon ladder and then timed out the wall lift. He was bad at the backstream.
Again, I just can't look past the fact that stage 2 is so similar, and I just feel like I'm just going to keep saying the same thing over and over again. I don't want to say wall lift, so I'm gonna say I'm really struggling with this guy. He got sorry, it was conveyor, wasn't it? Oh, sod it. He failed the conveyor last time, so I'm gonna say wall lift this time.
Alrighty.
I'm saying wall lift for every result at this rate.
Alright, so we got Yoshiyuki Yamamoto.
He'll clear.
And then
Hiyoki will also clear.
Ooh. So then we have Kashihara.
Oh, you know, I had a mind blank who he was then for a second. I was looking through the numbers like Kajihara, the guy at 65, yeah. Finished in the top 3. Jackie Chan. Yeah, I would say he clears.
All right, so then we have Jun Sato.
Yes, clear. Tada will also clear.
Tada will also clear. What about Araki?
Last cleared stage 1 in 38, timed out on the conveyor belt. I think he fell in the pool actually on the conveyor belt.
Yes, he did fall in the pool.
I don't want to feel like his 36 stage 3 was a fluke, but I'm going to lean in that direction. I'm going to say... I'm going to say wall lift again.
Alright, so now we have Kiyotaro Yamamoto.
I do think he's going to fail stage 2. I feel like the hype of him getting his stage 3 last time was great, but I don't think that mental block is completely gone yet. So I'm going to say he pulls a Shingo in the backstream and almost chokes to death, and gets out and times out on the conveyor belt.
Alright, so then we get Jessica.
Course is pretty much... she's not attempted the rolling log, but everything else is pretty much the same as when she last attempted in 37. Time. And she gets extra time, I'll say she clears.
And then we have Rio.
Oh, didn't I have Oliver Edelman?
Oh, you do have Oliver. Sorry, my bad. Forgot about him.
I'll say the German clears.
I forgot to write him down. You actually have 19 clears.
Oh, was it 19? I thought it was... Shouldn't that be 18?
I forgot to include Oliver on your clear.
No, you just said 19, because I thought it was at 15. I added 2 randos for 17.
And you also had the Black Tiger.
18? Oh, no. The Black Tiger was one of my randos.
Oh, I thought you had 3 randos. My bad.
Yeah, sorry, no, I did have 3 randos, but one of them was the Black Tiger guy.
Okay, so 2 randos, Black Tiger guy.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so I just listed the Black Tiger guy as a rando. My bad.
Right, okay, fair enough.
So 19 clears. That is the correct number.
18. No, 18 clears. 2 randos plus the Black Tiger.
Okay. Alright, so then we're up to Rio.
Oliver clears. Rio clears.
And then we got Yuji.
I think Yuji will time out again, but for the sake of being different, I'm going to say he times out at the end of the conveyor belt, so it counts as a conveyor belt fail instead of a wall lift fail.
Alright, and then Yusuke.
Yusuke will clear.
Alright, so now we're on to stage 3, which I also forgot to mention this. So the stage is flying bar, sidewinder, swing edge, cliffhanger dimension, vertical limit, pipe slider. So now starting with
how many clears have I got?
You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You have 10 clears.
Okay, I'm glad it wasn't 11. Because I feel like I was being pessimistic. Actually, you know what? To be fair, that would mean I've got 8 stage 2 fails, and that I think is overly optimistic. Okay, sorry. Issa. This is where I'm going to have to sit and think about it because I need to remember where all of these different people failed in the last tournament. Whether
Issa
they failed the swing edge.
DQ'd on the swing edge.
Well, what did I miss on stage 2?
I got 10 clears out of my 18 runs.
He just started his first one with Yoshinori Issa.
This is the thing we haven't said yet about the swing edge. I feel like whilst it was a big, twist in terms of the new obstacle in the last tournament and it caught everyone out, I feel like a lot of people that failed it, or even people that haven't even attempted it yet, will have now got their prep on it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it is still a very precise obstacle and it will still produce failures, but I think we will not see the sort of bloodbath we saw in 39, maybe ever again on that on that specific obstacle. Do I think he's going to clear it? I don't know. So I'm going to say he fails the first transfer on the cliffhanger.
All right. So now we have Yoshiyuki Yamamoto has already been chosen for a final stage by Flame. What do you think?
We know there is a final stage, don't we?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We just don't know how many. I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say he fails the vertical limit. He should have cleared the cliffhanger in 38. We've yet to see him attempt a vertical limit, so I'll say vertical limit.
So now we have Hioki.
Okay, he really impressed me in 39 by getting past the swing edge. I think I'm going to say he fails it this time, actually. I'm going to say he fails the swing edge.
And then we have Kajihara.
Right. So, yeah, he was the real surprise, being one of only 3 to clear the swing edge. I'm going to say he clears the first transition, but he fails the second one on the cliffhanger this time.
Nice. And then we have Jun Sato.
I'm sorry, Jun. You failed the cliffhanger. Is it 5 appearances in a row now?
Yeah.
I want to say. And I think, regretfully, that is going to continue. The question is, which one? He's gotten to the second transition a few times now, hasn't he?
Yep.
So I'm going to say he fails the second transition again.
And then we got Tada.
Okay, this is a big one. Because this, I can't decide if we're going to have just the one clear or 2. I'm going to say he clears. I'm going to say he does it. He was our first place performer in the last tournament. So he knows how to do the swing edge. He knows how to do that cliffhanger. Yeah, I'm going to say he clears.
All right.
I can't remember where he got to on the vertical limit in the last tournament. Did he fail early on it or?
He got about
He
halfway.
failed the last ledge.
Okay.
So now we have Jesse.
Jesse. I'm going to say Swing Edge. As much as I'd love her to get to the cliffhanger 3 appearances in a row, and I actually forgot she was really close with the cliffhanger in 37.
She was.
I just assumed from my memory that she just like wasn't. She just whiffed it. But she's not tried the Swing Edge, even though she has tried those types of obstacles before on American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah.
She's not tried the Swing Edge yet, so I'm going to say Swing Edge. But I hope to be pleasantly proved wrong.
Yeah. So now we have Oliver.
I'm also going to say Swing Edge for Oliver. As much, again, actually... No, actually, no. I'm going to say Sidewinder just because I feel like one person's going to whiff the Sidewinder in this tournament. It might not be Oliver.
There's always one.
I'll say Sidewinder, actually.
So now we have Rio.
This is another big one. His 2 failures on stage 3 have been... Neither of them have been the cliffhanger. I think he's going to beat the Swing Edge this time.
Never failed a cliffhanger.
Never failed the cliffhanger, and he has attempted. No, he's not. He's not attempted that cliffhanger, has he?
He's never attempted that I mentioned. No.
No. I'm going to say he fails the second transition on the cliffhanger, but I could be proven very wrong with that prediction.
He almost did in.
He almost failed it in 36. Yeah.
So now we got Yusuke.
Yeah. Look, I think. Let's be honest. Are any of us going to be surprised if he doesn't clear?
I'll be surprised if he doesn't clear.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm sorry. I just completely miffed my words there. Yeah. So would any of us be surprised? Would any of us be not surprised if he did clear? Is what I meant to say.
I wouldn't, because
I think we all expect him to clear. We all think with the trailer he's going to clear. And I think he's going to clear. I think Mr. 4000 will not produce a Yamada like in 10 and fail stage 3. So I'm going to say
now we have 2 people on the final. We have the rock wall, salmon ladder, and rope. How do you think Tada does?
Oh, God. We've got no idea what the time limit is. We don't even really know much about what the rock wall is like in terms of the transition, in terms of the pieces, the handhelds, the foothelds. It is literally a roll of a dice with this prediction, really, until we see it.
We know the rocks are red and nothing else.
Tada failed the salmon ladder last time. I'm going to say he whiffs it again.
Alright, so now we have Yusuke. Does he do better or worse?
I'm going to say Yusuke finishes in first place, timing out somewhere on the rope.
Alright.
So when I say whiff the salmon ladder, I think he will time out. I don't think he'll fall off or get DQ'd on the salmon ladder. I just think he'll just get in. He'll just be in a rush, screw up, maybe get it sideways, all that rubbish. Yeah, but I'll say timeout. Still.
So now it's up to me. My 15 clears. I don't have any randos. So now we're going to be starting. So number 10, I have Koji Saikawa, and I think he will clear. I think he's shown the progression needed to be able to finally have that breakthrough where he will finally have an attempt at stage 3. I think stage 2 will again start off on a high note with Yoshinori Issa clearing, so it'll be 2 for 2. However, that will end with Sugeta Rene. I think he will time out in the backstream. I think he will fail the backstream. Then Yoshiyuki Yamamoto is clearing. No doubt in my mind clearing. Hioki, however, this is my first shock. I think Hioki will time out at the wall lift. This will be the first shock of many. 65, I have Kajihara clearing. 72, I have Jun Sato clearing. 73, I have Tatsuya Tada clearing. All no shocks in my opinion. 75, I have Kiyotaro timing out at the wall lift. And then Steph, even despite with a time increase, Stephanie Edelman, I think she will fail the wall lift. I think she will go slow through the salmon ladder in particular and the backstream. I think those two will cause her to time out at the wall lift. However, Jessie will ensure that a woman does clear. She will clear. I think Snowman will have his first ever stage 3 appearance. I think Oliver will join his wife. Will not be like his wife in failing stage 2. He will clear stage 2. Yuji, sadly, will time out at the wall lift. And then
sadly, I have to go. Goodbye.
Bye, Flame. And then I have Yusuke clearing, which means I have 10 stage 2 clears. What did you think of that, Hunter?
Pretty good, pretty solid, pretty similar, but I'm not too surprised considering how the three of us have been going. Again, with the limited changes, I'm not surprised that this is probably the podcast, the predictions where we've all agreed, me, Puma, and whoever the guest is, we've all agreed on the most things.
Yeah. So now this is where I differentiate a lot compared to y'all. So Koji Saikawa on third stage, I think he'll fail the Sidewinder. Then Yoshinori Issa, I think he will get the first ledge of the Cliffhanger Dimension. I think he'll fail the second one. Then Yoshiyuki Yamamoto, he will clear. He will be our one of our final stage representatives.
Sorry, I missed that. Who?
So Yoshiyuki Yamamoto will clear.
Okay.
I have Yoshinori Issa failing the second transition on the Cliffhanger Dimension and Koji Saikawa failing the Sidewinder. I have Kajihara failing the Swing Edge again. Or not again, for the first time. It'll be a shock. Jun Sato, I think Swing Edge is going to be new to him. He'll not have that experience. I think he will fail the Swing Edge. Tatsuya Tada, he failed the vertical limit. I think he will beat the vertical limit. However, we haven't had a good pipe slider failure in a while, and I think Tada will fail the pipe slider. Like a final jump pipe slider fail, not a Yuji fail. We will have a final jump fail.
Well, they must have made that... They would have to make that final jump really bloody hard at long last, if that does happen.
And then Jessie, sadly, I think she will meet an end at the Swing Edge as well. I think Snowman, it's a great story, but his ends on the Sidewinder. I think Oliver, he will get to the Swing Edge and fail. And then Yusuke, this will be the shock of the tournament when he goes out on the vertical limit. So I have Yoshiyuki Yamamoto as my only final stage participant. I think he gets up the rock wall, but the salmon ladder does him in. He will fail the salmon ladder. It'll get crooked and he'll panic and it'll fall off entirely. What's your reaction to that?
Hang on, what the hell
Stage 3 and final.
Hang on, what the? So, okay, I decided to jump into Infinite because Fall Guys was really struggling to get any games. I was gonna load up just a one-off matchmaking game to close out this podcast. But I decided actually, let's get a look at the customs browser. And I started scrolling through, and I've come across Smokey's map.
Is it one of the
Halo
top
Ninja
ones?
Warrior Tournament 26 in the customs browser.
Huh. Interesting.
Bookmark that. I was actually specifically just checking out the maps, and then I saw this LG Jump map that I think a few people, like Smokey's put a video up, Sane's put a video up, and then I saw right next to it was Smokey's map. Okay, so I've got a few things bookmarked. So how many people, sorry, did you say you have on... Excuse me, on the final stage?
I have one person, Yoshiyuki Yamamoto.
Sorry, where did you say Yusuke's failing?
I think he will shock and fail the vertical limit.
Oh, okay. You don't think there's any risk of him failing the Swing Edge, even though he will almost certainly have practiced for it?
No, I think he'll beat the Swing Edge. He'll beat the Cliffhanger. I think just right at the end of the vertical limit, he'll fail. and Itada failing the pipe slider, it'll be a one-person final stage.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And sorry, you said Tada's going to screw up the salmon ladder.
Yoshiyuki Yamamoto will fail the salmon ladder. He'll fall off the bar.
Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Actually, to be fair, that would be an interesting result if it was just Yamamoto.
Yeah, definitely.
On the final stage. Like I say, I think there's no debate right now. Yusuke, Tada, and Yamamoto are probably the top 3 competitors right now on the course.
Yeah.
And now that obviously Shunsuke obviously fell off a long time ago. Drew is long gone.
We finally said his name.
Hiyoko and Jun Sato are just like, they're up there, don't get me wrong, but they're not. They're consistent, but they're just not. They've not got that extra step in them, to actually challenge for total victory the way that these 3 other guys have. And then everybody else, I think, is just too inconsistent right now.
Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so I guess the last thing you got to see was I somehow came across Smokey's map in the customs browser, which is interesting. So I guess, that wraps it up. We kind of really sped through stage 2, 3, and 4 there with the predictions. We've been going for just over 2 hours.
That's not bad. And I think we were able to really have our predictions well thought out, had some good conversations. I'm pretty satisfied.
Is there any closing thoughts that we may have missed from anything we've not already covered in our predictions that we're looking forward to in 40?
I don't think so. I think we covered everything we wanted to. I'm so happy that Sasuke has reached its 40th anniversary.
40th anniversary, 25 years, and I'm not going to lie, I really do think this lineup is arguably the best we've had. I don't know, maybe since 27, or maybe not 27. Maybe that's going a bit far. Maybe 30, possibly. I'm trying to think how far back to go to think. I feel like the field is stacked. I feel like there's a lot of big name competitors. Maybe some big names that we're not expecting them to clear, but they're still big names. I'm just trying to think of some of the previous tournaments in recent times where the field was stacked. Obviously, 27 had 27 clears and had tons of big names in that tournament. Maybe not 30, actually, because 30 had plenty of big names, but of the 27 clears, I don't know. There were obviously plenty of random people amongst that group in 30.
Yeah.
I'm just going to... I'll just say 30. Yeah, I think arguably this is probably the most stacked group we've seen in a tournament since Sasuke 30. And I think it's going to make for a very exciting tournament. It is airing on December 27th, which I believe is a Tuesday. 6 p.m. Japanese time, which is... Let me make sure I get the timings right this time, because I can't remember if it was 38 or 39, or I absolutely botched the time difference. It's a 9-hour jump from the UK to Japan, so 6 p.m. in Japan is 9 a.m. in the UK, which is 4 a.m. Eastern, I believe, and then 1 a.m. Pacific, if I'm correct. Please jump in before I get it wrong again.
I think that's right.
I think we're right. It's definitely 9 hours from Japan to the UK, because I just looked it up. 9 a.m. UK time, 4 a.m. Eastern, 1 a.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Japan, which Smokey will not have the luxury of getting to watch it at 6 p.m. Killer, I don't know what time it is for you, so big fat rip. Good luck. I think that's it. I'm hoping for a really good tournament. I hope it's going to be exciting. I hope, despite literally zero changes, I hope we do still see some shocks and some surprises, both good and bad. But I do think, regardless, we're going to enjoy it just because of the field. Let's just hope that there aren't too many big names that get like absolutely shafted and are cut from this tournament. You know, you've got Koji back, you've got the Monkey back, you've got Ikitani back. Don't cut them, please. Yes. Could we just keep them in?
It'll be really disappointing.
I feel like everyone else out of the old names will probably be seen in the tournament, whether they'll get fast forwarded or not. Yeah, I think that covers. Yeah, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
So yeah, big shout out to Puma and Flame for another podcast. We might have a few more with Christmas coming up. It's usually around this time of the year when we try to get a couple in. We obviously did Sasuke last year. We did a Spider-Man podcast last year as well. We're looking to do a World Cup podcast once the World Cup's over. And should we have a couple of ideas for podcasts that we might be looking to do, including maybe another one focused around Sasuke. I don't think we're 100% decided if we're going to do it yet or not, but we will see. So until then, I'll let Puma say goodbye, and then we will wrap it up.
Yeah, I hope you all enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe to Extreme UK Gaming. Catch up the most recent Niwa tournaments coming up, and it was fun having y'all.
I don't think I could say anything else better to close it out. Puma's put the pressure on me to get working on Niwa. Amongst the many other projects on the channel. Yeah. We'll see you guys again very soon. Go Morocco.
Go Morocco.
Beat those dirty French.